close this out. Though I do miss the ding it used to give us when it was actually live. So, all right, here we go. And welcome to another edition of the Spoiler Room. Mark the Movie Man here on April 19th, 2016. Yes, I have a few of the crew members in here who joined me in playing the world's largest trivia contest. And if you're not familiar with it, well, we'll let you know a little bit what that's all about and also how it pertains to the Blues Brothers, which is a film that I'm looking forward to discussing this evening with our fellow crew members. First off, we have the lovely and fantastic, always great to have her in the room, Dawn is with us tonight. Hello, Dawn.
Hello, gentlemen.
Great that you could make it here tonight. And next to Dawn is BFD, Glenn Bittner. Hello, Glenn. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you.
Good to hear, good to hear. And here in the room as well, you've heard his voice a couple of times on our episodes. He is the composer for Special Mark Productions, as well as just an outright good musician himself. He's here as well to talk about an appropriate film, The Blues Brothers. We have Mr. Mark Woldridge in the room tonight. Welcome back, Mark. How are you?
Greetings and salivations. I'm doing wonderful tonight.
Fantastic. And yes, tonight we are going to talk about the Blues Brothers, and even more so, talk about Trivia 47. Now, if you're not familiar with trivia at all, first, shame on you. But you're probably not from the Stevens Point area, so I don't blame you for not knowing about the world's largest trivia contest. To describe this, I think we'd all agree, this is going to sound a little crazy, but it basically starts from 6 p.m. Friday night to midnight on Sunday. It's 54 hours of basic trivia questions read on air at 90 FM here on the UWSP campus. And the whole point of trivia is to be a fundraiser because, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think 90 FM is only one of a few radio stations that are completely student-run in the country. Am I right on that, Mark or Glenn or Dawn? Do you know that for sure? Because I thought I had heard that a while back, but any of you guys know for sure?
That is correct. It is one of the few radio stations, and their alumni, Friends of 90 FM, are the main drive behind trivia and keeping 90 FM going.
Yeah, and so this is a great fundraiser. You register your team $30. There's merchandise, and they get the entire community behind this fundraiser for this radio station. Thousands of people come by, those who have lived in Point prior or been at school, and they come, join in teams. You register, you get an ID, and you sit down for 54 hours, and you answer trivia questions on just about anything, at sports, music, literature, art, TV, and our favorite subject, movies. And to kick off this whole celebration, a week prior to the contest, they have a trivia movie. And it used to be rare, or not rare, but kind of indie films, obscure ones, but those were kind of hit and miss, weren't they, Glenn?
Yeah.
So, a while back they started with classic films. Was the first one, I think, was it Dr. Strangelove? Was the first one, or was it Casablanca the first one that they did? That was a classic that he started doing. Do you guys remember it all? I think it was Casablanca.
Are you sure that it wasn't even before that? It was Singing in the Rain?
Oh, yeah, you're right, Singing in the Rain. All the years kind of blend together after a while. But Jim Oliva, the Oz, as they call him, who has been the main kind of guy along with John Eckendorf, write the questions, but he also picks the trivia movie. And so he's been picking classic films over the last few years. And let me tell you, there's nothing quite like getting a chance to see Dr. Strangelove or Casablanca on the big screen, on the mega screen. It's just fun, especially when you've got a theater packed full of people who also love the film. And this one, for this year's contest, was the Blues Brothers. And yeah, Dawn, you were there. Did that surprise you a bit that it was going to be the Blues Brothers? Dawn?
Yeah, actually, I should have known. I should have known based on his description of and his teasers that he threw up on Facebook all week. I should have known because the Blues Brothers does have everything.
It does have everything, and he was dropping hints. And when I found out it was the Blues Brothers, I was like, oh. But what was interesting about the pick is he asks questions about everything, but especially when they pick the trivia movie, they ask questions about it. And it surprised me he picked the Blues Brothers because, Glenn, wouldn't you say that out of any trivia movie, everybody's going to know that one?
Pretty much. I mean, well, I wouldn't say everybody. I'd be willing to bet a lot of younger people have not seen the movie.
Oh, that is true. Younger ones in the audience, as well as folks our age and older. It's a diverse group for trivia, but I love the fact it was Blues Brothers. And what's always great about these classic films is you're not quite sure how the crowd's going to be, but when Dan Aykroyd drops the famous line about the distance to Chicago and half a tank of gas, the entire audience recited it word for word. It was like a church of trivia. And it was wild because you get people starting to say that famous line, and then other people joined in realizing, oh, it's okay to say it out loud, and then the entire crowd joined in.
I don't think there's going to be a question about this line. It's okay.
Yeah. That's exactly it. But we'll get back to trivia a little bit, but I wanted to talk about the Blues Brothers because after watching it again for the trivia movie, it blew my mind on how we talk about in current cinema the lack of diversity and equality in that. But Mark, especially you being the musician type, wouldn't you say this film was a bit of ahead of its time? Because, I mean, you've got a diverse cast in here. Even though you've got two basic white guys being in the head, I mean, everybody kind of feels equal.
Well, it's a really interesting film, and the studio didn't want to release it because they thought it was a quote black film, or didn't want to give it wide release.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also sort of a throwback in a way because it's been a while since I've watched it too. But watching it, it has very much the structure of a classic musical, of like the pre-Rodgers and Hammerstein sort of musical, where it's, I mean, considering that Blues Brothers has essentially the same plot as White Christmas. It's the whole, we got troubles, we have to raise some money, let's put on a show. It's same plot, and so it's very much a throwback to the classic musicals of yore in that way. Yeah, it's very timeless in a lot of ways, but also very, very progressive for its time as well.
Yeah, I mean, because you never get the feeling like Jake and Elwood are put in a position above. In fact, a lot of times they're put in position. They're the comedy, and the rest of the folks are the straight guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, how about you, Glenn? You feel this is a bit of a diverse film, a little bit progressive for maybe its time?
Oh, sure. I mean, there's no way you could have a movie about the blues and not have black people in it.
Well, yeah.
Well, actually, I shouldn't say there's no way. Hollywood could do it.
Not well, but...
No, but they could do it, and it wouldn't surprise me if they did. Now playing the role of now I got to think of somebody who's in it. Ray Charles. Who could be Ray Charles? Maybe Ewan McGregor could play Ray Charles.
Wow.
Robert Downey Jr. That's who could play Ray Charles.
There you go.
Oh dear.
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, this film, watching it, I'm like, I you never feel. I mean, I think the only group that is maybe made fun of at all are country western singers. Wouldn't you say, Don?
Absolutely.
And the Nazis, of course.
And the
Well,
Nazis, of course.
well, yeah. Who likes Nazis,
Oh
especially
yeah,
Illinois
Illinois
Nazis?
Nazis. Can't stand Illinois Nazis.
For those of you who, I guess we should tell folks a little bit about Blues Brothers if you haven't heard on it. If you haven't heard about it, shame on you. This is a fantastic comedy about the Blues Brothers based off of a SNL skit of Mr. Dan Aykroyd. Ooh, go ahead. Go, Don.
Let me correct you.
What? Go ahead.
Actually, well, it is kind of based off an SNL skit, but according to the making of, the Blues Brothers was actually Dan Aykroyd and James Belushi earnestly trying to create a blues band.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aykroyd has a deep history in the blues. He, sort of grew up the blues pretty much, and he introduced not Aykroyd, Belushi to the blues. Yeah, Belushi to the blues, and Belushi, being the sort of person who dives into anything and consumes it with every fiber of his being, music, comedy, drugs, he then just took on this new character and persona and started living the blues for this period.
Yes. That's why they have so many actual albums released.
And speaking of the albums, I have to say it causes me a little bit of pain that, Briefcase Full of Blues, certified double platinum album, it is the highest selling blues album of all time. And it sort of hurts me a little bit, considering all of the legendary blues artists. What's the highest selling album? It's a guy from Canada and a comedy group, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
It's sort of like the final kick in the groin for all of the years of sort of co-opting and stealing music from the originators.
Yeah, I guess you could see it like that. Though that's the one thing too, though, Glenn. Wouldn't you say that this film never, for it being comical, it never feels mean-spirited as far as the music goes?
Never. Yeah.
Oh no, never.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and the entire thing is approached for a love for the music. That is absolute.
Yes.
It's never done. It's never mocking. It's absolutely done from love.
Yeah, except for country western music.
Well, yeah. Country and western. Yeah.
We serve
Two different kinds.
two different kinds. And as you can tell, folks, you learn a lot about a film, not just because of trivia, because we love it, but we are full of trivia for the film, because once it's announced that it is the trivia movie, you've got to know a lot about the film. For instance, the question that I kind of dug that you could only really see on the big screen, or if you did a multiple level, was what is the name as it is read on the box of the athlete on the Wheaties box that falls on the window of the cop car chasing the Blues Brothers? And I'm like, wow, you can't see it on the DVD, really. I don't think you could see it on the Blu-ray even. You could kind of see it on the big screen, but that one was more of a look at the picture of the Wheaties box and then search for that picture online and see what it was. And that's what I love. But the cast that they have in this, besides the Blues Brothers, I mean, you have a number of known, really famous blues. I mean, you get, Ray Charles we mentioned. You got Aretha Franklin in here, in a fun skit. You got
John Lee freaking Hooker. Oh,
thank you.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Uh-huh.
Did you catch? I want to see if Glenn caught it. I don't know if you watched it again for trivia, Glenn. But did you catch the fight that they continually have, even as they're leaving the soul food place, about when he wrote the song?
Oh yeah.
I mean, what did you think about the music choices and the people they picked? Were they kind of a surprise for a film like this? I mean, it's supposed to be kind of a comedy, and here they have all these legends in the film.
Well, I think if you're gonna, I mean, because while it is a comedy, I think it's also it's a blues showcase.
Mm-hmm. It's a musical. I mean, it's a
musical. It's a musical comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to have music, I mean, the comedy's great, but I mean, the music is a huge part of the film, and you really need to have really good music for that. And it's how are you going to do better than some of the people they got?
Yeah. Yeah, and the dancers too, Don. We were talking about that. Those performers they got for, especially the James Brown revival in the church. Don, what about those dancers they got? They were amazing.
Yeah, they again, I was watching the featurettes on the DVD because I love this movie, or on the Blu-ray. I love this movie. Some of the dancers, the ones specifically at the Triple Rock Church, the dancers for James Brown, they were all professional dancers. They were absolutely stunningly amazing. I believe, if memory serves, the dancers outside Ray's Emporium were not professionally trained dancers because Aykroyd and Belushi were not professionally trained dancers, and they didn't want to, make them look foolish.
They still did well, though. I mean, especially for the cast that they had, it was insane the amount of dancers they had.
Speaking of amusing trivia, some of the dancers outside of Ray's Emporium include James Avery and Mr. T.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Wow, James Avery and Mr. T.
Uh-huh.
Now that makes me want to get the Blu-ray so I could go back and see if we can see them at all anywhere in there. Wow.
Crazy, huh?
The dance numbers, especially in the church. I mean, I watched that thing, and the sheer energy from the dancers just blows me away. And then from that street performance as well, it's like, wow. It's like this is they went all in with this, and they actually made, like you said, it's a comedy, but it is a serious musical as well, which I think some people who just see the Blues Brothers might miss out with this film. Would you think, Mark, that maybe they get the wrong impression from the start? If you just went by kind of the description and what you know of, two comedians. It's great.
I think, in a way, more recent SNL movies might cause people to give this one. You might approach this one from the wrong perspective, because modern SNL movies are straight comedy. This one is really it's the labor of love from Aykroyd, and so it really is music first, and then comedy laying in the rest like a delicious icing.
Yeah, and the comedy, a lot of it is, there's some straight comedy, like, I mean, you get Carrie Fisher in here, who has a wonderful role as, it's a
comic
book. Mystery woman.
The mystery woman. We'll leave her it's a spoiler room, but we'll leave a little mystery but she adds the Wile E. Coyote part of the film.
Oh, yeah.
Well, considering that a building falls down on Jake and Elwood, and they just sort of brush off the bricks and keep going, that's that whole comic book aspect where they get blown up in a phone booth, and all of those different things where they just keep on rolling after that.
So Glenn, you're the comic book guy for sure. Are they, Jake and Elwood, handled kind of like superheroes in this film?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, all the stuff they go through, and they keep coming out without a scratch. I mean, they're definitely I don't know if hero's the right word. They're
Okay.
almost they're almost more anti-hero.
Sure.
Because they're not really. They're kind of not really good guys. So
Yeah.
they break plenty of laws, and some you could argue, well, that it was for a greater good. They're speeding through, down Lower Wacker Drive and stuff like that. But they totally rip off that.
The cowboy.
Yeah, the
Bob's Country Bunker.
Bob's Country Bunker. They drank how much beer?
Yep.
$300 worth of beer. That's a lot of beer for back in 1976.
True.
Yeah.
80, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Still, that's still a lot of beer.
And talking about the sort of comic book superhero nature, apparently in the original script that Aykroyd wrote, there was something in there about how the Bluesmobile had magical powers. It got cut, though, because the original script was some 300 pages.
Yeah. Yeah.
If made nowadays, they would have broke it up into 3 films.
That's true.
Peter Jackson to direct, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the whole scene with the penguin, with the magically opening and closing doors.
Yes.
Yeah, there is a slight magical spirit. There is a spiritual element to it, that's for sure. The penguin, aka the nurse that runs the orphanage, which the Blues Brothers are from. The doors opening and closing, her floating back into the doorway.
The name, Sister Mary Stigmata.
Yes.
The names in here are just great.
Oh, yeah. This is one of those examples of there is direct comedy and then there's subtle comedy mixed in with this. Which, yes, I'm going on my little soapbox. Most of the modern comedies nowadays seem to miss that point. They need to slap you in the face, whereas here they kind of give you some of that, but on others, they kind of ease you in, or they'll throw a joke, your way, a little bit like, in Ray's music shop when he manages to shoot to keep the thief away from the guitar.
Well, and all the deadpan reactions of Elwood's my favorite. I have to. That's not probably sort of obvious about that, but just all of the deadpan reactions he has throughout, very understated, but the comic timing of it and just the flavor that adds to it, just
I think some dry white toast.
Which is chickens.
And really the whole white bread sort of thing. That's sort of an interesting symbol there as far as their presence in the movie.
As being the white bread, yes.
Yes.
Well, actually, you mentioned that subtle humor. There's a scene in Bob's Country Bunker, which basically Jake and Elwood are trying to come up with a gig. They've got the band together, but they're like, oh, crap, we got to come up with something. So Juliet Jake manages to con their way into playing at this country bar. They're a blues band playing at a country bar. But the best part about that scene was they both walk in, sit down at the bar, and Elwood's being his kind of deadpan self, and Jake goes, oh, well, we're the band, and his head whips like lightning. Right? Like, he doesn't have an expression on his face, but his head whips at him like, what the fuck are you saying, dude? we can't play here. And I love that clash of culture that they had in there, and I liked showing that and how they adapted, though. They adapted like musicians kind of would, wouldn't they, Mark?
That's what the blues is. It's like, okay, we improvise. What are we doing here? What's the framework we're starting with? Okay, this is what we're doing now. Name the key, play the song.
Yeah. Glenn, did it look a little painful for them to be singing that music, though? Or don't you think so? Or do you think they were just doing the gig and trying to get through it alive?
The gig trying to get through it. I don't think it was painful. It's just it's not their thing. But I mean, I think most performers at some point in their careers have done things that were not their favorite things.
Word. Like Elwood's, Jake's reaction at the end. They finished the last round of Rawhide, and he says, "Let's get the hell out of here." Yes, there have been gigs like that. It's like, we're done. Let's leave.
Don't look at the odors and try to head for the exit before anybody says anything.
Yes.
And folks, this film I think has the most wrecked cars ever on screen.
Something like 70 police cars, I believe, are used for this movie.
That insane chase they do through Chicago after he gives the famous line, it's crazy in how it was shot too. Because I'm just watching some of the camera stuff that they do, and they get some really wild shots in here, and kind of edge on your seat type of stuff, even though you're like sitting there going, this is a bit ridiculous, but at the same time you're just enjoying seeing real cars.
Especially when they end up in Milwaukee.
Yeah, they're in Chicago, and then they're magically in Milwaukee for a shot.
The bridge to nowhere.
Yep.
The famous.
But also, I love the fact that when they initially shot it, they shot the cars going at a fairly normal speed, and they just sped up the film and realized it looked awful. So they actually had them speeding. I mean, they still speed the film up a bit, but they were actually speeding down Wacker Drive in Chicago. I mean, they were driving like bats out of hell.
So they actually had them at the fast speed for that. Because I imagine on film it probably, especially for back then, it probably weren't able to make it look right. So, and man, do they cruise. Of course, they're in a 77 Monaco. That was a tribute, or what the Blues Brothers.
No, they weren't in a Monaco. Where's my notes?
I threw that out there on purpose because I knew she'd do that. That's stuff for
my
you.
Notes.
You wanted to watch Dawn Twitch, didn't you?
I did want to watch Dawn Twitch because I wanted to trigger the old trivia instinct of that's not what it was. Let me get my notes. Because during trivia, folks,
converter so it runs good on regular gas.
Yes.
That part I remembered, but I don't remember the...
Cop shocks.
There are other people that remember makes and models of cars. That's not my job.
Cop shocks, cop brakes. It's got a catalytic converter. So many. Yep. And yes, folks, that's the type of stuff though that could be asked during the world's largest trivia contest. What is the make and model of the car that the Blues Brothers drive? I mean, you get stuff like that. What's on a sign in the background? And you watch a movie in a completely different way when you're doing trivia. Wouldn't you say, Dawn? Even though it's your favorite film?
Well, I remember other things, not makes and models of cars.
Yes, I know you do.
What is it?
She's looking for it now.
Okay,
Glenn,
there's a...
Glenn, wouldn't you say as well, though, that you look at a film a bit differently when it's for trivia?
I've never actually watched a film just solely for trivia.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I have not.
1974 Dodge Monaco, yeah, you're right. So.
Okay.
Chuckling up to the Markster.
Wow, don't sound so disappointed in that, Don. Oh, God. Suddenly felt a knife through the microphone and stab you in the eye. Yeah, there you go, Mark. You got it. Yeah. Fuck you. But that's what the environment for trivia I love, though, because you look at a film differently. But even with this, it gave me more appreciation because you just catch all little details that you might not have missed. You might have missed just casually watching the film. Here, you kind of got to pick it apart, like, just simple things like the Blues Brothers going to see the Murph, Murph and the Magic Tones, and on the sign on the Holiday Inn that they're driving in, what is the group that is welcomed at the hotel? And it says exterminators. And, just watching it, you might not pay attention much to that. Or, and yeah, I just love that part of it, that you just got to pay attention to detail, but you appreciate a film more because there's a lot more going on. You realize that the filmmakers put in that many people wouldn't really notice, signs and such, like, was it the delicatessen next to the Plymouth Hotel, the dill pickle delicatessen, and right between that, I didn't notice until watching it for trivia, there's actually a pub, a dill pickle pub that's next to the dill pickle delicatessen that's between there and the hotel. Just details like that I always find interesting when it comes to trivia.
And then there are recurring details. Like, okay, you've got your Dan Aykroyd details and his little things he throws in there. And I'm pretty sure it was him. The recurring pictures of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, JFK, and Robert Kennedy are peppered throughout the film in various locations.
Yeah, they pop up constantly. And then also, you mentioned it, Dawn, John Landis.
Yep, John Landis, who co-wrote this with Dan Aykroyd, yep.
You've got a movie title that shows up at least twice in the film, one with a King Kong billboard fighting spaceships, for a fictional movie that Dawn informed me while doing research for trivia for this film. It was a recurring theme for Landis in a film called See You Next Wednesday. And you don't really notice that if you're not taking notes on what is written on billboards, because the Blues Brothers, when they're running away from the country guys, it's on the billboard that the cops are hiding in, and then it's on the marquee where the Illinois Nazis fall through the road after driving off the bridge to nowhere from Milwaukee, and they shoot all the way to Chicago. And it's there too. And that just, details like that are just crazy that, filmmakers work stuff like that in. The Illinois Nazis, I thought, were handled well because when they have the protest, because in the scene where we're first introduced to the Illinois Nazis, you have the Nazis there, and you have the cop complaining, they won their court case, so now they get to march. But I liked the fact that the audience that was protesting the Nazis was a multicultural group of individuals. I don't know.
Well, that was that was all based on a real thing that happened too in Skokie.
Oh, was it?
For a long time, the Nazi group was, because the Nazis were trying to get to march for a long time. When they even went to the courts and everything, and they were doing it not because they were trying for their freedom, because they were doing it because they're Nazi dickholes, because the area they're doing it was primarily Jewish. They had fought for a long time to be able to march basically through a Jewish neighborhood.
Sure. Oh, so that was based on real events, and
yeah,
Nazi dickholes.
Yeah.
Suddenly, why do I picture a little swastika with a hole in the middle? I don't know why. my brain is broken. That's why. Living on very few hours.
Glory hole of the Reich.
You put the hole at the end of each little leg, and then they could pee, and then it would go wee, and it would.
Wow. But I liked how they handled the Nazi Party in this, and that they had, it's a diverse group protesting them. Where, in all honesty, I think modern day they would try to throw in maybe more of minorities protesting. But there you had all groups and manner of people protesting the Nazis, which I liked. And it kind of, I liked it surprised me in a good way that they had that. Because, I don't know, I just get the feeling that if it was done nowadays, it might not have quite such a diverse group protesting them. Would you say that, or am I just being too cynical? Anyone?
Maybe you're being too cynical.
Too cynical? Okay, I'm being too cynical. I'm being too hard on modern Hollywood. Excuse me.
I would go as far as saying it would be less incidental.
Okay.
It would be on purpose, and you would be able to tell it was be on purpose.
Whereas in here, they may have just did it because those were all the people that they could grab for the film. Too.
Kind of feels like that's how it went throughout the film.
It did, didn't it? It felt like even some of the military. Now, did they actually use some of the Chicago's finest as well as the military for it? I don't think those were all actors, were they? Because like a couple of them who actually had speaking roles seemed like it was their first time speaking in front of the camera. But that scene near the end where they get chased, as we mentioned before, there's a pileup of massive amount of cop cars, and then they finally make it to the tax assessor, which is their whole motivation, getting money for the orphanage because of a tax assessment on the orphanage. And they get to the place where they need to pay, and you just have every form of municipality and civil servant as well as the army there. It just blows me away, the scale that they have this film on. I couldn't believe how much they got for this film. I mean,
it's really surprising that this movie only ran $10 million over budget, really, considering the kind of scale that it ended up having in a lot of its scenes.
I mean, it was like John Landis was going for broke, like saying, this may be the last time I make something, so let's just throw everything into the pot and see what they're gonna let me do.
One of the more impressive things to me was that they actually were allowed to drive through the Daily building.
Oh yeah.
That was that just blows the mind that. Mm-hmm. They had that good of a rapport with the city of Chicago that they were allowed to do that.
Belushi was like Chicago's unofficial mayor. He was he was legendary there. Just as far as you really can't understate how popular Belushi was in Chicago.
Yeah, it's crazy popular back then, and it's still the scale and the scope for this type of film. It boggles your mind. It does. It's impressive, and yes, I am being cynical again, but I think a lot of it would have been CGI nowadays.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
And you're watching this going, man, I'm surprised more people didn't get hurt in this film. But and the airborne cop car that the Blues Brothers drove around in seemed to really jump hills very well, and they drive through a mall,
which I have a friend whose mother used to work at that mall.
Oh, really?
Just before they closed it down.
Because they filmed it there after it was closed down, obviously.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So they had to. Luckily, they had some of those storefronts that probably were still intact, but. What's funny about it is, again, watching it for trivia, you have to pay attention to details. They're actually really, to break kind of the fantasy, they're going down the same stretch of mall like 3 or 4 times.
Yep, they are going back and forth down that one stretch. But, different camera angles making it look bigger.
Different camera angles, shooting one side versus the other, and it's stuff I didn't quite notice watching it many times before. Then you're watching it, trying to pay attention to what storefronts are in the background when this car flips, and you're like, wait a minute. You're like, I saw that storefront like 2 minutes ago. What the hell? So, yeah, the Blues Brothers is a classic, and I thought it was so fitting for trivia. But you don't just get questions during trivia on that film, do you, Glenn? You get questions from all eras of films, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Not as easy as one would think.
No.
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 It shorts your brain, I think sometimes. But I think Oz takes some enjoyment out of that. John and Oz do when they can come up with a question that'll stump everyone. What would you say? But they're still fun to find things out. I want to go down and real quick. I know we're all foggy yet, still recovering from staying up really, really late. But Dawn, what would you say was one of your, say, more enjoyable or interesting questions? Do you think that might have been film related during trivia, if you can remember any that come to mind?
Gosh. Oh God, what was it? They were they asked something. What did he ask? My brain is just fried.
No, it's okay. I was just.
So many questions are floating around my head right now.
Well, there were a lot. Oh, you got a Sharknado one. I mean, there was a toss. It was tossed
yeah, they
out.
asked about the Nova created a weapon, a special weapon patented or something, a special weapon. What was the name of that weapon?
Mm-hmm.
And the way they ask the questions, they don't tell you what movie it's from. They might give you a character name or they might give you a description.
Right, but you're never given a definite movie from when it's from. Which always is the most challenge, because first you got to try to figure out, well, what movie is what the heck movie, and it could be 100 years of film. He's got a lot to pick from.
Yeah.
Glenn, did you have a movie question at all that you can remember that you might have liked or that might have caught you?
No, I can't think of it. I can't think now. It's only been 48 hours since the end of the. I can't think yet.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't put people on the spot like that.
This is why I took the whole week off.
What about you, Mark? Can you remember any?
Well, you see, this is why over the course of trivia, what I do when I find things that, because you see a million web pages over trivia, and there's so many of them, you think, oh, that's cool. So I make a folder of things. It's like, I want to remember this later, doink, and I just save things for later on. But
see, that's why you're smart.
Yeah.
That's why I earn the big bucks at trivia.
And trophies.
Yeah, and cash and prizes, yes. But the stuff that I was making note of, I found some music that I want to check out after trivia. So that's my angle on it. But the question about Blue Cheer, I found that rather amusing. So
yeah.
What can be arguably the origination of metal, pretty much. So it's like, okay, we're gonna be following up on this. But my brain is mush still as well.
No.
I can't remember anything else.
That's part of the reason why I asked. I just wanted to challenge you guys to see if you could come up with anything. Yes, all our brains are still mush thanks to trivia. But that's one thing I was thinking of on the ride home at 2 in the morning, listening to the final scores being written after being up for like 50 hours of the contest. Was that it's educational. Because you do run across those questions which you may not have asked correctly, but once you get that answer, there's this driving force to where, okay, how the hell did he get that? Or how did he come up with that? Or
you waste the first minute or two of the next question trying to find out, okay, I got to see what that is now, and you go and search back. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, because once he gives the answer, sometimes you can find it, and even then, sometimes when they give the answer, you might think the internet is the information highway. He still manages to find the potholes in it, where you're like, where did he find that? Especially with the pictures that they come up with, which are, I think, probably the most challenging. Well, I mean, a lot of challenges, but man, you get no reference. You get this kind of grainy picture that you're supposed to figure out what it's from. I think for me the surprising, the two of the biggest ones was the one for Raggedy Ann.
Oh,
Board game?
that castle, the board game.
castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what- Jesus, I must have looked at 100 different things. I didn't think a board game, you know. And then you're kicking yourself for that, or the kid pointing at something with the towel in the back. He's in the bathroom. Looks like he's pointing towards toothpaste. Or album covers are always the big one. I didn't realize how many fusion jazz albums there were out there in the world. Till he said that one question. On the flip side of the sleeve for this fusion jazz album, and like, oh dear God, where'd all this fusion jazz come from? So yeah, trivia is it's an experience, really, and I enjoy it. It gets in your blood and you play it, and I think for me it's the addiction of when you get that question right. I don't know about the rest of you. I want to go down. I mean, Mark, for you, what is it that kind of hooked you into trivia? Is it listening to it for the first time and actually getting like one of the more difficult ones right that kind of gets you hooked?
Yeah, it's the whole thing of being able to pull one out, just saying, I know that one, and just finding out that no knowledge is too obscure and everyone has something that is useful at trivia. And it's the pooling together of knowledge to learn things and find things. It's very much something which appeals to collectors in a way, which I think is sort of like a geeky trait there, where you collect any sort of thing, and for trivia, it's you collect information and knowledge, and you get to put it on display.
And you learn where the internet is quite lacking in showing things.
Yes.
What about you, Glenn? What kind of hooked you with trivia? Was it getting that question right? Was it getting that question right at all for you, or what kind of hooked you with it?
Just hanging out with friends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get to see a lot of you people very often, so this is my excuse to drive up to Stevens Point to hang out with my friends. I mean, I like playing trivia and stuff too, but yeah, if it was just me, I wouldn't give two farts about it.
Sure. And what about you, Don? Would you say that it's getting together with friends and also getting some of those right questions?
Yeah, well, I'm from Stevens Point. Trivia's been around longer than I have, so it's a thing here. I at first it was, I mean, when I very first started playing, it was about that rush of getting the right answer. Going to the trivia movie, it's a full production. Going to the trivia movie, having that week of searching out those obscure pictures, building and participating in a freaking parade. I mean, we're in central Wisconsin. We don't do a lot of parades here. It's a thing. And after a while, you get, especially after a while of building a team and building friendships, it's about the family. I mean, your team becomes your family. They are your friends.
Well, it's a great shared experience, and you're sharing it with friends. And yeah, you get some wrong, and it is competitive. And people might ask, well, what do you get? This big, huge contest, and what do you get if you finish in the top 10? And you get a nice trophy. You get bragging rights. But winning, in all honesty, for some teams, that's really important to them. But for most of everybody, the impression I get, even for the higher upper teams, it's just getting together with friends and having fun and enjoying a movie or movies or finding out something interesting about your friends you didn't know because they just rattle off an answer off the top of their head, and you're like, wait, you know that? It's like, who are you? Why do you know that? But then you don't matter because you've only got two songs usually to answer the question by, which is also great. You get great music during trivia, which you get classic tunes as well as some more modern stuff.
And some weird stuff.
And some weird stuff. Though I think we only heard the Baby song once this year.
At its normal appointed spot, too.
And it's normal appointed spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you get questions for what's on cereal boxes and candy labels and infomercials, and it boggles your mind. And I think for me, part of the appeal is wondering what the next question's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me, I love that anticipation of going, what the hell? You know, talk about who looks up stats about Pro Bowling, and then suddenly you find out apparently a lot of people do stats on Pro Bowling. You know, or a movie. You know, wow, someone actually did a list of drinks featured in films, and it goes all the way through the history of film, and you're like, thank God this person had no life because it just gave us some points for trivia.
Yeah, it is truly amazing out there. The websites, the fan sites dedicated to things. There is an entire fan site out there dedicated to every single detail of the Attack of the Killer Tomato franchise. Might be important someday. I'm just saying. And you can buy, and conveniently you can buy Attack of the Killer Tomato hot sauce. Can't guarantee its taste, but it's there.
But it's there. And yeah, so I mean, the trivia movie is an experience. Dawn and I get to definitely go every year with a few people who live locally. And it's crazy because they pack a line. And yes, you're talking about a film that's out on DVD. It's out on Blu-ray. Yet they pack a 300-plus theater on the mega screen with people, multiple showings, 3 different times. And I think they pack the theater every time to see a film they could easily see at home. But you don't, because you're starting your kickoff for trivia. You're starting that organic coming together, you know, with the experiencing a classic film on the big screen that, in all honesty, probably hasn't been experienced for many years on the big screen, you know, or at all. I mean, even though I was young, I don't think I saw Blues Brothers ever on a big screen. You didn't see Casablanca on the big screen. I'm not that old. So, yeah, so trivia, we'll wrap it up here. But trivia is an experience, folks. You can find it on Facebook. You can go, and I am going to plug them because it is a great radio station. They're an alternative radio station, completely student-run, 90 FM, WWSP. I believe that's their website as well, 90 FM.
90 FM.
Yep, 90fm.com.
Just 90 FM.
Or you can search on Facebook, too. If you type in the word trivia, it should come up with, in quotes, world's largest trivia contest. And deservedly so, because it's an experience. I mean, not only, we've talked mostly about questions and movies, but there's running questions both Saturday and Sunday where you go to a location and you find out, like, what is the price of a mocha cappuccino at this storefront, or how high is this sign from the ground. There's also trivia stone clues, which basically are like scavenger hunts of sorts, where you're in a car and they give you vague things like go past the arches, the red barn, and the bicycle. Now turn left and look for the Robert Redford film.
You've done this too much, Mark.
I've done just a few trivia stones, mostly. Oh, and then the music snippets. Folks, you will not realize how many songs have similar cowbell sounds until you play trivia and you have to go through a song snippet of 8 song little clips pieced together of cowbell sounds.
I'm still hearing cowbells in my sleep.
Yeah. But it's an experience that I think everyone should come up and have, because once you play it once, you're either going to go, it's not for me, or you're going to just absorb it like a sponge and come back every year.
Get
Which
a
if you
Belushi on trivia.
Jim Belushi. You're gonna. Wow. Okay, I'm just gonna go to a spot. I'm not gonna go there.
Take 2 steps back from that one. Yeah.
I'm gonna take a step back from that one. But they put on a great contest here in just little old Stevens Point, and if you want also a taste of it, look for it if you can find it. There is a documentary on it called Trivia Town, which you can buy as well out there. Buy it. You hear me? Buy it. Don't pirate it. That's just wrong. But it'll give you a great flavor of what just goes on here in our little old town in the middle of Wisconsin. So we'll go down real quick. Let's just get a final thought on Blues Brothers and trivia. How you feel about it? Mark, we'll start with you. Go ahead and just give your kind of final thoughts. And would you recommend trivia to people?
Would I recommend trivia to people? What kind of question is it?
Well,
it's when something is absorbed within yourself so much, it's hard to imagine the sky being green or something. A world without trivia is not something that I can imagine. So it's sort of like I would recommend breathing to people. So yes, I would recommend trivia.
And what do you think about Blues Brothers? Do you think after all these years it stands up pretty good?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about that, and I was trying to remember when I first saw the Blues Brothers, and I was realizing that I couldn't really remember. So it's sort of like the Blues Brothers is also sort of like this cultural constant. It has always been. It's sort of like, because the Blues Brothers came out in '80. And when I was 7, so thinking about how the image of Jake and Elwood has sort of always been there for a large chunk of my life. It's that cultural constant, and I can't think of a time when it wasn't there. So, it's woven into the fabric of popular culture. It definitely stands up.
Cool. What about you, Glenn? Your thoughts with trivia and Blues Brothers?
Well, trivia has a special place for me because most of the freaks that I know simply because of trivia. Mm-hmm. If trivia hadn't existed, I wouldn't have met most of you. I mean, I had my connection with Jeff and Randy and Gretchen, and that was pretty much the extent of it. I mean, I had met Shanna once when she came to visit Jeff. I think end of senior year in high school. Mm-hmm. Shanna and Andy came to visit. I wouldn't have met most of you if it wasn't for trivia, because I mean, the only other times I went up to Point was I went up twice for some one-shot LARPs that Brad and I think Rob were running, and I think that actually happened after my first trivia, so I don't even know if I would have gone up if it hadn't been for trivia, having met a bunch of people before. So trivia, that added a whole other level of freakiness to my life. As far as the Blues Brothers, it's one of my favorite, not just kind of one of my favorite movies of all time. Back when I had a TV that I used regularly, and I'm not saying that studio I don't own a TV. I watch everything on the computer now, but when I had a TV that I would watch and I'd be flipping channels, if the Blues Brothers was on, which it was about every third day on TBS, I would stop and I would watch it, and it was always one of those movies where I would always stop on. If it didn't matter where it was in the film, I would, it could be the last 5 minutes or the first 5 minutes or somewhere in the middle. I'm gonna watch it. So, it's my jam. I see the light.
You see the light, the band. And Dawn, how about you? Trivia and the Blues Brothers.
Trivia would definitely recommend. I often do play trivia, play early, play often. Find a team, make a team, whatever you got to do. Play online. It's a thing. I've been playing for I've been playing since I was a teenager. So my first team was, well, oddly enough, Joyce and I, and kind of stayed there with us.
Mhm.
Grew, changed, evolved, turned into this awesome thing that it is now. As far as we won't discuss the other things that happen around trivia.
What
Weapons and
happens?
shit, yeah.
What happens at trivia stays at trivia unless
No,
someone
no,
decides
no.
to
What happens
post
at
it.
trivia? We advertise.
Advertise, yeah.
Mhm.
Look for videos. They're there.
Sudden,
Yeah, and as far as
yeah.
the Blues Brothers, yeah, it's classic. It holds up well. There's the story. The story itself, the plot is okay, but it's the performances that make it absolutely amazing.
The story is like the tortilla chip. The salsa is the music on top of it. It's sort of like
Yeah.
how a tortilla chip is a means by which to eat condiments, because the condiments are what you want.
It's like the details. Every time you watch it, you notice another new detail that just
Mhm.
is. Wow, I didn't notice that before. That is so neat. I wonder why they did that. Sure. Wonder what that means. It's got to mean something.
Yeah, it does stand the test of time. I love the Blues Brothers. I hadn't watched it for a while, and getting to watch it multiple times for trivia to take multiple notes, I remembered exactly how much I loved the film, and it does stand up. A lot of it because of the practical, a lot of it too because the jokes in there for a comedy aren't necessarily held to just that period. I don't think most of the jokes in there are, could be in any time period, really. There's really not anything that would date it as far as a pop culture reference. And I think it's because it's dealing with blues music, which is classic and, which is really has a long history. I think that helps with it. So yeah, Blues Brothers you just watch it for the performances, some of the outrageous stuff and some of the great stuff, and just the music. I mean, Cab Calloway
Yes.
singing Minnie the
Oh.
Moocher is such a fantastic scene. While he's singing that, you've got the Blues Brothers sneaking around the cops in beat, yet in step with the music. And just hearing Cab Calloway sing it is worth it alone. Ray Charles, hearing him sing and uh, getting that respect and that exposure for a genre that people think might be held only to, say, the Deep South or to, small bars or something, and getting that and showing that, just how diverse and fantastic that music is.
Mm-hmm.
I love the soundtrack to the Blues Brothers. It's amazing soundtrack, especially with, get it with the original artist, not one of those Spotify channels that has a bunch of covers, which I found. And as far as trivia, I got introduced to trivia from a mutual friend, Gretchen, which you heard Glenn mention, and she took me to my first trivia at Mark's apartment, where we had a stack of books, some notebooks, and a lot of sugar and caffeine.
Oh, yeah.
and that's all we had to play with back then. And
Back in my day.
back in my day, but it's true. It's true. We had that one. You had that one little shelf of books.
There was a lot more time for hanging around, because back in the old days of trivia, if you didn't have the answer, you didn't have the answer.
There was no searching the interwebs for your answer, because the only place you could get Mosaic is in the computer lab at the campus. So
Yeah.
the game has changed and evolved thanks to the internet, but so have the questions. But what hasn't changed is the spirit and the fun. I made the mistake of staying up all 54 hours and got very ill afterwards, but it was so worth it and had me come back. And then due to life, I kind of split away for a while, but then thanks to getting back in touch with Dale and that, I got back in touch with a lot of folks and been playing it, and I love it. I love the energy. I love just every part of it. You get sucked into this world for 54 hours, and there is no outside world. You don't know what news is going on. The Washington, D.C. could have been, fallen into the ocean, and if it wasn't a trivia question, you wouldn't give a damn. If it didn't say what U.S. capital just fell into the ocean 5 hours ago, that's how they would have to present the news, because you get sucked into that trivia world, and that's all. It's so immersive, and I love that, because you can just focus on friends, fun, questions, find weird stuff you didn't know was out there, and then want to find out more about it.
There is no Mark. There is only trivia.
I just realized that there were no pork beans and gravy at trivia this year.
Oh.
I ran out a few years ago, actually.
I guess we'll just have to get some more next
Endo's
year.
my supply, yeah.
Or we'll
North Carolina.
we'll get some canned chicken, canned whole chicken. Yeah.
5 whole chickens.
And a Coke.
Yeah, the various traditions have been lacking. The shotgunning of the beer and the consuming of the pork brains and milk gravy. That's been on hiatus for a few years now.
I think next year that needs to come back, as well as our floating. But we can talk about that later. We're not going to let you in on all our secrets, but I will tell you the secret is this, that if you do not come up and experience trivia at least once, I think you're letting some of the best fun things in life pass you by. So check it out on the web. You can see past contests. Set your calendar and come visit our small town here. They do a trivia movie every year, but you got to watch movies all year and take notes, because anything could be asked. And so we're going to wrap it up for the evening. I want to thank this fine Spoiler Room crew, my fellow teammates of our this year we were called Freaky Stardust. But Team Freak, I appreciate you guys joining in on this conversation, and we'll go down the line here and see where people can find your stuff at. Dawn, go ahead.
You can find me in the audience.
In the audience.net, correct?
Yes.
There you go. And Glenn?
Yeah.
Yep. You can find
me on the Facebook with B-Movie Bunker and Guy in a Bunker Productions. Find me on YouTube, Guy in a Bunker Productions, as well as on Twitter at Guy in a Bunker.
And Mark, where can they find your wonderful music when it's not being played on our show?
You can find me at centralbatterymusicworks.com.
There you go, for all your musical needs. And yes, our episodes are all on specialmarkproductions.com, as well as the iTunes and other various podcast venues. I am trying to get us on Google Play as well. The Google Music, the new Google Music channel is featuring podcasts, so hopefully we'll be on there soon if we get approved. And specialmarkproductions.com, you can find all my stuff as well. I hope you all enjoyed this conversation, found it interesting, and maybe even wet your whistle for playing in the world's largest trivia contest. If nothing else, go out and go buy Blues Brothers. It's a very excellent musical with very talented folks, and you'll have some laughs as well. I hope you had some laughs tonight here on the Spoiler Room, where the conversation is fresh, but we do spoil the movies. Remember, it's 106 miles to Chicago. We've got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes, and we're wearing sunglasses. Anyone?
Hit
it. You can tell we're still recovering from trivia. Good night, folks.